Module 12, Instant AP Administrative Tasks. In this module, we will look at the firmware versions for the IAPs, how to configure backup and do a restore, how to completely reset an IAP. We'll look at converting an IAP into a remote AP or a campus AP. We'll look at the various user roles. We'll look at how to introduce a certificate, and we will look at centralized management. The IAP OS depends on the type of IAP. As an example, the Aries version is only for the RAP 155 and RAP 155P. Taurus is for the IAPs 204 and 205. Hercules is for the new IAP 300 series. They all have the same GUI, just different OS files. Any attempt to load an OS on an incompatible IAP would simply fail. Be sure to download the OS for your type of IAPs. If you have a single cluster of IAPs, you can download the OS from your laptop or check for a new version from the cloud-based image check feature. If the IAP cluster is managed by Airwave, then Airwave is responsible for the OS image. When a new IAP joins the cluster, it will synchronize its software version with the version of the virtual controller. If the new IAP belongs to a different class, the cloud server provides the image file for the new IAP. The automatic image check is performed once after the AP boots up and every week thereafter. Enabling Airwave, however, disables this feature. Backup or restore will use your local file system. The instant CFG containing the IAP configuration is saved or retrieved in your local file system. If you wish to clear the configuration, then simply click on Clear Configuration and choose a specific IAP or all IAPs in this cluster. If all the IAPs have been cleared of their configuration, then the IAP cluster will start advertising the instant SSID just like a new cluster with no configuration. If you wish to totally clear the configuration, then under the Maintenance section, select the Configuration tab, click on Remove All Configuration, and then click on Clear Configuration. This will not only delete the configuration, but all IAP settings and certificates. You may choose to delete just the main configuration and keep per AP settings and certificates, or totally remove all. If the IAP had been converted to a RAP or a CAP, or simply needed to be totally reset, then a pin reset would reset this device to a factory default configuration, a basic IAP. The reset button is located on the back of the IAP. Here are the following steps to reset the IAP. Power off the IAP. Press and hold the reset button using a small and narrow object such as a paperclip. Power on the IAP without releasing the reset button. The power LED flashes within 5 seconds, indicating that the reset is complete. Release the reset button. The IAP reboots with the factory default setting. Converting an IAP. Your IAP cluster has the capability to convert to campus APs. You can also convert an IAP to a RAP. This is typically done when using a RAP 3, RAP 109, or RAP 155. The controller must be configured with a VPN and a whitelist. These conversions can be automated when using the cloud-based Activate system. CAPs and RAPs can be reconverted to IAPs if they were originally IAPs. Another option is to convert an IAP in the cluster to a standalone IAP. This IAP will form its own VC and can be configured separately even if it's in the same subnet. The remote AP conversion will convert all IAPs in this cluster to RAPs. The VC sends the remote AP convert command to all the IAPs. All the IAPs will set up a VPN tunnel to the controller specified. You can also convert all the IAPs in this cluster to campus APs going to a controller. If standalone AP is selected, then you must choose an IAP to be independent from the cluster. It will keep the configuration of the cluster from where it just departed, but will delete the VC static IP address. IAP Admin Users. In the IAP, you can create three types of administrator users. The main local user with total power, a look-only account with view-only capabilities, a guest admin user that allows the user to create a guest account in the local DB and nothing else. For authentication of the users, you can use the internal DB or Radius or TechS server, with or without falling back to the internal DB. The view-only user is limited to see information and issue support show commands. The maintenance link only gives information about the IAP system. The system security and RF links have been removed. The guest user is limited to adding, deleting, and modifying users in the local DB. A certificate is a digital file that certifies the identity of the organization or products of the organization. Is it also used to establish your credentials for any web transactions? It contains the organization name, the serial number, expiry date, a copy of the certificate holder's public key, and the digital signature of the certifying issuing authority so that a recipient can ensure that the certificate is authentic. IAPs allow you to upload your own certificates. Centralized management. An IAP cluster has a VC from where monitoring and configuration can be performed. Trying to manage multiple VC clusters would be daunting. Large network of IAPs would need central management. This can be achieved with Airwave or Aruba Central. Aruba Central, a cloud-based and always-on design with global reach, HTTP connections with strong mutual authentication, monitoring and troubleshooting of IAPs, monitoring and troubleshooting of clients, configuration and firmware upgrades, visual RF and reporting. Airwave is a hardware platform or VM, monitoring and troubleshooting of IAPs, monitoring and troubleshooting of clients, firmware upgrades, reports, visual RF, Rapid, which is a rogue detection system, GUI or template configuration. So there's choices to manage your IAP clusters. To direct your IAP cluster to an Airwave server, you have three methods. Local. A local configuration is where the Airwave IP, key, and organization is configured. DHCP. The Aruba Instant Virtual Controller initiates a DHCP request with the DHCP option 60 string Aruba Instant. If the DHCP server is configured to recognize this option 60 string, it will return an option 43 string containing the organization, Airwave IP, and pre-shared key. This information will be used by the IAP to connect to the Airwave server. Activate. Activate is a cloud-based service. If the IAP has internet access, then it will communicate with the Activate server. Within Activate are groups and provisioning rules. The rule type is IAP to Airwave with the Airwave IP address, key, and organization. IPs will be directed to an Airwave server. The Activate server can also be used to direct your IPs to Aruba Central. The Airwave has two modes of operation, monitoring and manage mode. In monitoring mode, the Airwave is simply monitoring the IP cluster and all configuration must be done on the cluster. Once the IPs are moved into managed mode, then the airwave is in total control of the configuration. No configuration can be done on the IP network once it is in managed mode. All configuration must be done on the airwave server and pushed down to the IPs. This allows a consistent and centralized configuration system. If the IP loses access to the airwave server, then after 5 minutes, full configuration can be done directly on the IPs. In IAP 4.2, when a user logs into the VC GUI, an option to sign up with Central will pop up, offering a free 90-day trial. This only happens in two situations: when an IP is in factory default configuration, or if the IP was upgraded and the reboot reason is image upgrade successful. If the close button is clicked, the option won't pop up again when visiting the GUI the next time, but there is a lower button on the main GUI page that allows you to set up Aruba Central. Activate can direct the IPs to Aruba Central. Central is a cloud-based management system. Central provides a standard web-based interface that allows you to monitor and configure multiple IP clusters from anywhere. There is a free 90-day trial, after which a subscription is needed. IAPs have many services but are beyond the scope of this course. Airgroup. Users can register their personal devices and define a group of users who can share the registered device. Airgroup is aware of personal and shared devices, sends unicast response to MDNS or DLNA queries, and reduces the traffic footprint. Ensures cross-VLAN visibility and availability of Airgroup devices and services. Allows or blocks Airgroup services for all users. Allows or blocks Airgroup services based on user roles. Allows or blocks Airgroup services based on VLANs. Matches devices to their closest service such as printers. RLTS. Instance supports real-time tracking of devices when integrated with the Airwave Management Platform or a third-party real-time location service such as AeroScout. With the help of the RLTS, the device can be monitored in real time or through history. ALE, Analytic and Location Engine, is designed to gather client information from the network, process it, and share it through a standard API. The client information gathered by ALE can be used for analyzing a client's internet behavior for business such as shopping preferences. ALE includes a location engine that calculates the associated and unassociated device's location every 30 seconds by default. OpenDNS, with subscriptions to OpenDNS to provide cloud-based enterprise-level content filtering. Palo Alto Network. IAPs maintain the network and user information for its clients in the network and can provide the required information for the user ID feature of the PAN firewall. XML API. The XML API interface allows the user to send specific XML commands to an API from an external server. These XML commands can be used to customize IAP client entries. You can use the XML API interface to add, delete, authenticate queries, or blacklist a user or a client. CALEA, Lawful Intercept, allows the law enforcement agencies to perform an authorized electronic surveillance. Depending on the country of operation, the service provider are required to support LI in their respective networks. Configuration of the various services can be done by clicking the services under the More drop-down menu. Here you can select the service you need to configure. The setup and explanation of all these services are beyond the scope of this course. In this module, we looked at the firmware versions and how to upgrade your IAPs. We looked at backup and restore. We looked at how to reset an IAP. We saw how we could convert an IAP to a RAP or a campus AP. We saw the various user administrative roles. We saw that we can upload our own certificates. And we saw the advantage of centralized management when managing multiple clusters.